Hey guys, Asher here, and this is my friend Aiden. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
So this is going to be a weekly podcast. Every maybe noon, every Tuesday, we will be uploading an NFL podcast based on the past week's news or
Yep.
rumors, updates, trades, cuts, hires, and just see where it goes from here. Now we don't have a prepared script for today because this was kind of out of the spur of the moment, and since we don't have a script, we will just kind of jump into it. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the Baker and Deshaun situation that's going on in Cleveland. That's a pretty bad situation going on.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say anything? I mean, I bring it up.
I mean, well, the fact that the Browns want to pay half of Baker's salary just to get him out of Cleveland to the Panthers
I
in
mean,
exchange for Robbie Anderson.
if I'm Baker, what would you want to do? I mean, you were the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. You're basically promised this starting role for the future. Then the Deshaun stuff comes up, but the Browns were never really rumored as the team to take Deshaun Watson until it just finally happened. And Baker obviously wasn't happy about it. So when Baker moved, or not Baker, Deshaun moved from Houston to Cleveland, he automatically was given the starting job, and Baker was not happy, and he requested a release or a trade, and they obviously didn't give it to him, and he feels like he's been betrayed. But now with the Deshaun situation, with more and more and more and more allegations piling upon him, do you think that there's a possibility of Baker act? I think this is how I see it. I think Baker will stay. I think he'll play this last season, and then he'll go after this season and play somewhere else, like you said, Carolina, I think is a big one. Unless Carolina really, really wants them and doesn't trust rookie Matt Corral.
Yeah. See, I think this season Baker has something to prove to Cleveland. This the way they've treated him has been horrible. I mean, it's going to be a battle. And if Deshaun Watson gets suspended, then Baker has his chance.
Yeah, I agree with who did you say that the Panthers wanted to
Ro-
give Cleveland?
Robbie, they didn't want to give Cleveland them. Cleveland wants Robbie Anderson from the Panthers.
Okay, that's what I was saying. And are the Panthers willing to give them up or give him up for Baker?
I mean, considering he is one one of the few good players on the Panthers, probably not. Robbie Anderson has been a very, very, very good wide receiver there for years.
At least it's not like CMC. I mean, if they give up Christian McCaffrey, that's
What's he going to do? Go to Cleveland and tear his ACL?
but that's the thing is that that's the only star player Carolina.
I like DJ Moore. DJ Moore's pretty good.
But here's another big thing. Imagine if the trade does go down. Baker goes to Carolina, but the Deshaun charges are hit, and the NFL suspends him for the year 6 games, 9 games, 12 games, whatever. Who then is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? You have no Deshaun or Baker. What do you do? Do you look at the market? Do you try and trade for another quarterback? What do you
I
do?
mean, there's a very controversial quarterback still out there in free agency.
Yeah, Mr. You want to say his name? Because I can't remember his name, but I can see
It's
his
Colin
face.
Kaepernick,
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick.
Mr. Fro himself.
The Frofo show. Yeah, after his little stint with the Niners, it, he was not really that good of a quarterback, and I think that the only reason that people want him to play is basically just because of the fact of what he stands for and racial equality, rather than the fact that people want to see
He's a
him.
good quarterback.
He, I,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's a good guy, not so great of a quarterback. I mean, if you look at his stats, here, this is a good Google right here. If you look at Colin, stupid Google Chrome, uh, with Colin Kaepernick's stats when he was the starting quarterback at the 49ers, he played for Nevada in college, didn't he?
I do believe so.
So
I
in
could be wrong.
his last year in the NFL was with San Francisco in 2016, which
Mm-hmm.
he threw 196 for 331, 2,241 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Had an average of 6.8 per yards per throw. Had a quarterback rating of 49.2. Was sacked 36 times.
And how many games did he play in? Did he play the full season or
It
no?
says, let me see. It says he played 11 games that year.
So not quite the full season, but that was still subpar to the rest of the league. Only 2,000 yards in 11 games.
And also, the team went 1-10 in his 11 games as the starter.
After what, 2 Super Bowls? Going to 2 Super Bowls at least?
I could have sworn it was one, but
I'm not sure. 1 or 2. Wasn't big into football back then. I was like 8.
mm.
um,
who was
but
the who was the one that replaced Colin Kaepernick on the depth chart?
um, didn't they immediately trade for Jimmy Garoppolo after
I can't
after he
remember.
left? Because I know they picked up. They got Jimmy Garoppolo from the Patriots. I know he's been the starter there ever since they got him.
The quarterbacks, the final roster, it was Blaine Gabbert.
That's right.
Blaine Gabbert. If I'm looking at the 2016 San Francisco 49ers final roster, Blaine Gabbert.
I mean, honestly, they should have just got the boat.
You want to know who was the third string for the Niners that year?
Who?
Christian Ponder.
What?
I mean, look at that. Blaine Gabbert, Colin Kaepernick, Christian Ponder. This was only 6 years ago.
That's crazy.
And I mean, look at this. Running backs, Mike Davis.
Oh my god. Not Mike Davis.
The let's see, wide receivers, Chris Harper,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Burbridge, never heard of him. Jeremy Curley, tight end Garrett Selleck. Not really much of a. Well, they did have DeForest Buckner.
That's right, because I know all about DeForest Buckner and the 49ers 2020 Super Bowl.
I mean the only the only really big players non-quarterback that I can see on this team is Mike Davis and maybe Chris Harper and DeForest Buckner. Uh, no wonder they went 1-10.
They had nobody. And I mean nobody.
I mean, this is not a really good team. I mean, like, looking at their injured list.
Their IR was probably filled with people, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Rick
Like,
Armstead, Ray Armstrong,
ooh,
Blake
it was
Bell,
it was like the
Chris Davis.
it was like the Ravens last year, just injury riddled.
Fun fact: Chris Davis played for Auburn, and that was the guy who returned the kick six.
Yep, I know. Have that name being yelled burned into my memory.
I remember watching that live. That was still great.
Chris Davis.
But yeah, of that season with the San Francisco 49ers, they went 2-14. The only games that they won, both against the Rams. That's interesting.
Yikes. Funny now we look at the Rams now and they just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so like first game of the year, the 49ers beat the Rams 28-0 in San Francisco. and
And I
then
bet everybody was like, "Oh my god, they're good still." Nope.
like everybody must have been like on the Colin Kaepernick train, and then they lose to the Panthers 46-27, lose to the Seahawks 37-18, lose to the Cowboys, the Cardinals, lose to the Bills 45-16.
Yikes.
Bucks, Saints, Cardinals, Patriots, Dolphins, Bears.
I mean, who kind of didn't lose the Patriots back then?
That's a good point. But it was at home. Lose to the Jets at home. Lost to the Falcons 41-13. Then they beat the Rams again in LA. And then lose to the Seahawks. So no wonder Colin Kaepernick got released.
Yeah, he wasn't it.
It looks like his last mediocre, at least good season was 2014 when the 49ers went 8-8. He threw for 3,300 yards. Let's see, how many touchdowns? 19 touchdowns, but a whopping 10 his career season high interceptions.
How many 10
Yeah.
to how many touchdowns?
No, 19.
That's not a good ratio, my boy.
Yeah. But I mean,
Nine.
he had a lot of yards. Who was? Let me see. Did they like have a big rushing running back for like the inside the red zone situation? Let me see. If I look at the so
Ow, David.
2014 Frank Gore.
That would be why.
Exactly.
Prime Frank Gore.
This would have
And then
been.
And then
8
Frank
years.
Gore just went all over the league and did absolutely nothing with his career.
He's basically the running back for. No, I wouldn't say he's. I'd say Ryan Fitzpatrick is the quarterback version of Frank Gore.
Or Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. I mean, look at this roster from 2014. So they had Blaine Gabbert, Josh Johnson, Colin Kaepernick at quarterback. Frank Gore. They also had Michael Crabtree.
Oh, yeah.
At
I
receiver.
remember Michael Crabtree. He got in a
Asante
fight with that one
Cleveland.
guy over a chain.
Let me see. Any. Not really. They had, let's see. Nobody else really looking interesting the more and more that I look at the roster.
That roster, yeah. So, I do want to change the subject to something real quick.
Alright.
I want to know your opinion on what the Steelers are going to do with their quarterback situation.
Kenny Pickett versus Mitchell Trubisky.
Will they give Trubisky a chance? Or will they immediately start Kenny Pickett?
Well, I think it's all going to depend on the preseason. I think Mike Tomlin is for sure going to play them out during the preseason. I mean, at this point, I really don't think that Mason Rudolph has a chance.
Oh, no, me neither.
It's going to be... And don't forget, they also got George Pickens from Georgia in the second round.
Yep, they did. Kind of broke me just a little bit watching them take George Pickens.
I didn't know that they took another quarterback in the 7th round.
Who wasn't?
Chris Oladokun?
Never heard of him. What college did you go to? What college did you go to?
South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits.
I think I remember that. I think I remember watching that pick, actually. I watched the 6th through 7th round just to see, because I know we had a lot of picks in the 6th and 7th.
All right, well, let's look at the roster for the Steelers. You got Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, and that Chris Oladokun. I feel like, of course, it's going to be obvious. I think Chris will probably get released before the regular season. Either that, or he will play on the what's it called? The little training squads.
Practice team?
Practice
Or he'll
team.
replace Mason Rudolph. I mean, that's always a possibility.
Yeah, I mean that is a possibility. I mean, who knows? The dude could, shine out during the preseason and end up being, the season starter. Anything's possible.
The first seventh round pick to ever win a Super Bowl. Seventh round quarterback pick.
So the Chris Oladokun was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He had originally committed to play at South Florida and had offers to play with Nebraska, Temple, Iowa State, Bowling Green, Georgia Southern, Southern Alabama, and Toledo.
Mm. So he had quite a few offers as a 3-star recruit. Not bad.
And then he ended up playing for South Dakota State at the end of his college career. The running backs, I think it's obvious
Najee
Najee's going to
Harris.
start, but I don't think they're going to run the ball with Najee as much this year as they did last year.
He's gonna be more of a receiving back with fresh quarterbacks.
Yeah,
because he could do it. We all witnessed that well enough.
and don't forget Benny Snell, who's another really good.
Yeah,
and of course Derek Watt. And then you have wide receivers and Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Miles Boykin.
you got a really good receiving core there.
Yeah, that could be a really good star team right there. And tight end Pat Fryermuth coming into his second season.
Also, you guys picked up another tight end. What? Cameron Hayward's younger brother?
Was it in the free agency?
No, it was like sixth round. Really late in the
Connor
draft.
Hayward.
Yeah, his older brother is also a Steeler.
He plays tight end and fullback. That's interesting. Let's see. Offensive lineman. I mean, if you look at this offensive line
versus, on paper, it probably looks really good.
But I mean, if you look at from what it looks like right now compared, I mean, even just like the year before COVID, 2019, 3 years ago, it is a completely different offensive line.
Sounds like the Chiefs after the Super Bowl loss.
So, I mean, I don't see anybody. I mean, no more David DeCastro. Zach Banner's not here. Matt Feeler. BJ Finney. This is a very young offensive line.
That's a good thing, though.
Defensive lineman Cameron Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. Linebackers, I feel like TJ Watt, this is going to be the year that he finally breaks the
sacking record, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to go full out this season. Miles Jack, Marcus Allen.
Forgot you guys got Miles Jack from the Jags. Oh, God. That's an elite receiving core. Not receiving
Minka
core,
Fitzpatrick.
linebacker core. Yeah, I saw he signed his extension.
He is now the highest paid safety in, is it the history of the league?
I'm not sure. I just saw that he signed.
And so with Minka Fitzpatrick, let me go to his professional career. Yeah, he's now the highest paid safety in the league with a 4-year, $73.6 million extension, including 36 guaranteed.
Yikes! Oh my, that's a lot.
So this is a make or break season right here.
Oh yeah, how old is he? Not even his.
He is 25, so he's
really young.
Yeah, he's in that prime age right there.
Yeah.
13 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 36 deflections, 4 fumbles, 5 recoveries, and 352 tackles.
That's insane.
I feel
The
like
sh-
the Steelers this year, I think there's a possibility they could go 10-7, maybe 11-6.
Maybe make the playoffs with like a wild card.
I think they'll make the 6th or 7th seed.
Yeah,
They'll definitely finish second in the division behind the Bengals.
I don't think the Bengals are going to do anything this year.
I think that they'll have a repeat.
I maybe, but honestly, they should not have been good last year.
That is
Their
that is true.
their defense played good for no reason.
I'd like to see them do it all over again. I mean, that's just Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is just a killer combination.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But the
Who do
AFC
you
North, huh?
it's the AFC North is terrifying.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
what's
look
scary
at the
for Pittsburgh is the quarterback situation. Is that like you compare it from since Cincinnati has Joe Burrow,
the Ravens
Cleveland,
have Lamar.
yeah, the Ravens have Lamar. Cleveland has Deshaun slash Baker, and the Steelers have either Kenny Pickett and or Mitchell Trubisky, which will all depend on the preseason.
Yep. So I kind of do want to talk about the scariest division in football, in my opinion.
The AFC West.
Yeah. I don't know what number one what the Chargers did. The Chargers went into settings and turned off cap and acquired every defensive free agent in the league for some reason. I mean, look at who they have right. Khalil Mack, what J.C. Jackson. These are just trades in general. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. Those are just two of the add-ons. They added so many players. So many players defensively got added into the AFC West, and we have Russell Wilson at in Denver. How do you think that's going to go?
Sorry, who? I was reading something.
Russell Wilson in Denver. How do you think that's going to go?
I think there's a possibility that this could not be a great year.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't
I
think
think
that it's as big as a team that I think if if he depends on how good he does this year will depend on if they get new weapons for Russell next year, and if he just absolutely bombs it, I don't think he'll play the year after.
me either. I think he may retire.
I would say well, that is a yeah, maybe.
What do you think about the um, what's his name? Debo Samuel situation with him wanting out of San Francisco.
Um, I don't think he'll leave.
Yeah,
I think that this like, do they have enough to crap? What's the word called? Franchise tag him. You think that's a possibility?
my freaking Siri opened on my computer.
It's all right.
I guess I said something that sounded like Siri.
Do you think there's a possibility that the Niners will franchise tag him? Like if there's a way that they can.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Let me look up some stuff on Debo. So here's an article on Bleacher Report. 49ers probably regret not extending Debo Samuel earlier.
Oh yeah, I bet.
That's another big thing for the 49ers. Do you think that Trey Lance could take the starting job over Garoppolo?
If he's as good as they think he is, we've seen him play what, maybe 2 times in his entire career,
I mean, let me
and he
see what
was
his stats were.
Because, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo isn't getting younger.
Yeah,
He's into his 30s at this point.
quite possibly. So he went, Jimmy Garoppolo, 41 for 71, 603 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, an average of 8.5 per attempt, quarterback rating of 97.3.
And this is Trey Lance, right?
Yeah, this is Trey Lance.
Because he didn't play very much, so we didn't see much of him. Honestly, they should let him start, in my opinion. If they drafted him first round last year, one of the first quarterbacks taken,
Yeah.
start him this season. About halfway through, if he's struggling, put Jimmy back, because
But I mean, did you not see the season that Garoppolo had?
yeah, I saw the season Garoppolo had with a star player breaking out,
But
with
I
a
mean,
breakout star player in Deebo Samuel.
do you think if they put him up for a trade that anybody could take him?
Because I don't think anybody really would take them unless they're really desperate for a quarterback, because nobody's seen how he plays.
No, I mean
We haven't
Garoppolo.
seen
Like
Garoppolo.
in
Absolutely, if they put Garoppolo up for, they people would start grabbing. He has Super Bowl experience. They'll eat that up.
maybe that'll be the quarterback. I don't know. Whoever's not getting the starting job is getting traded because they're equally both good starters, and I think that quarterback's going to end up going to a team that doesn't have a good quarterback at the moment.
I really expected the Lions to take a quarterback in the draft.
I feel yeah, I could either go to Detroit, Washington,
The
Carolina.
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons are in dire need of a
They
quarterback.
get, I mean, they got Marcus Mariota, but like
It's also Marcus Mariota.
how
Marcus Mariota hasn't been relevant since like 2018, 17. I mean, Marcus Mariota hasn't had a season with plus 1,000 yards since 2019, and that was only 1,203. His last, I guess you could say, good season was 2018, where he went for 2,500, or 2016 he went for 3,400. I mean, I don't even know who. Let me see. Who else are the? Who other are the? That's not good. Did you completely fall apart? Sorry about that. My apologies for that, guys. Discord's gone out, so I guess we're gonna have to cut this podcast episode short. So if you liked the podcast, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what type of stuff you want us to talk about next Tuesday, and we will make sure to talk about it. Sorry for the episode for being so short. For some reason, Discord just completely out of its mind right now. But I appreciate you stopping by and watching today's podcast, and I'll see you on the flip side.